Hello and welcome back to Leadership in Transition. I am Laurent Mayfair, the founder of Live to Yourself Coaching. In previous episodes, we explore what happens when something feels off, how to reconnect to our values with what truly matters and what embodied leadership is. Today, this podcast has a very different format. We are recording this outdoors on a beautiful spring day on the outskirts of Zurich, and I'm honored to be here with Pia. So maybe I invite you as well, listeners. If you are inside and you want to listen to this podcast outside, well, put your shoes on, put your headset on, press pause and press play again when you're out. And maybe it will be a very different experience than listening inside. You will understand why this podcast is recorded outdoors when I introduce my dear guest, Pia Eggimann. Thank you, Pia, for being here.
Thank you so much for your beautiful, kind invitation.
So Pia is the founder of Positive Coaching, a Zurich-based leadership coach for women who have achieved a lot and carry a lot of responsibilities, yet sense that something deeper is calling. Pia works with women in transition, leaving corporate paths that no longer feel true or stepping into more self-led ways of working and leading. Her work focuses on reconnecting them to their inner authority, so they can lead and decide from a place that actually feels deeply aligned with themselves. And she does this in a very unique way, through coaching in nature, with nature, where clarity becomes not just something you think, but something you feel. So thank you, Pia, for being here, and now our listeners understand why we are recording this outside in the nature. Pia, is there a few words you want to share with our listeners about you and what you do?
My heart is very full right now. Thank you so much for introducing me. Maybe I'll add something very personal. Besides being a leadership coach for women, as you described so beautifully, I'm also a mother of a 4.5-year-old, and I live close to the Zurich Lake in Uetikon am See. And as you said, work mostly outdoors with my clients around the lake, in the lake, we might talk about this later, and in other places of nature like the forest, but also very hands-on in walk and talks close to mine or my client's home. So
that's wonderful.
Also pragmatic in that sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's wonderful. And this is what this podcast is about, nature, and how maybe we can get inspired from nature, leadership transitions, these moments in life. And yeah, maybe nature has answers that we don't all have. So maybe to start us with, Pia, and I'm wondering what has brought you to build a coaching practice that is so unique, and to coach in nature specifically. How did that come about? What is the story?
So let me take you on a little journey to share a little bit about how this came about. So if I zoom out, it was very early that there was a seed planted. Like I remember being a small girl having this deep curiosity in terms of wanting to understand human behavior and growth in that sense. So my teenage self wanted to become a psychologist and a psychotherapist. I appreciate her. She was very clear. And I was also very movement focused. I used to do a lot of ballet and cycling, just kind of moving all the time. So additionally, there is an early memory kind of stored more in my body than in real thoughts. And this is me as well as a young girl sensing the power differences between women and men, especially observing my parents. And it left me really both very sad and angry at the time. I wanted to see my mother in a much more powerful place, which of course I didn't have those words for at that time. So if I'd had a magic wand, I wanted her to be, running a business, being financially independent and having a say at home really, and not turning to my dad to make decisions. So I think there was such a huge part in me that wanted to see something in her that I wished for myself and beyond. So yeah, I think there is a deep sensitivity and awareness that I had for certain patterns. And And then the time came and I wanted to become a psychotherapist, start the studies of psychology. And I turned to a wonderful person in my family who was holding a PhD. I looked up to him. He had a wonderful life, a very fun one as well. And I was very permeable, like durchlässig to fears of others. So when he told me that if I choose that path, people might be afraid once I step into rooms, I might see something they don't want to show yet. I just stopped listening to him. He said other things too. I cannot remember. We found this out recently. Much love to him as well. But so I forgot that dream. I went to another path, studied a little bit of business, went to hospitality management, and basically stopped trusting what I sensed and who I was becoming. So then it was 2016, 10 years ago, when I first experienced professional coaching for myself. I was just sitting across this beautiful woman I'll never forget. And she asked me all those questions, starting with, "How are you?" I was like, I don't know. You'd imagine that, right? So it just felt surprisingly difficult to access answers that felt true in my body.
Wow.
So I realized I need something more to access those answers. So it was kind of a funny insight when I went to yoga classes and I was sitting there on the mat afterwards, after an hour of moving, of maybe meditating a little bit. And I suddenly felt, now I have the answers to her questions.
Wow.
So the questions in that sense, those questions full of curiosity and powerful questions were very useful. Just the setting of sitting across her in a room at that time did not allow me to have what felt like true answers. So that was a very long explanation.
No, thank you.
That was my first, kind of encounter with coaching. And can I continue?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
So after the birth of my son, which was about 4.5 years ago, it was about a year later when I stopped breastfeeding that I experienced depressive and anxious symptoms. And I had everything in my life, also living up to my feminist ideal. I was, both my partner and I were working 90%. We both had a mommy and a daddy day. And I was leading a team, an international one. So I was working in that startup and it was all exciting from the outside. And still I was sitting on my sofa and I was crying my eyes out and just didn't know, what was going on. And that's when I started my authenticity project in a Excel sheet.
Excel sheets.
Little fun story. And I approached it like, a leader would approach like maybe a project plan, a strategy, mapped everything out that I think I needed to do. And in that process, I realized I wanted to become an entrepreneur and a coach to cut it short there. And that's what I did. And
that's what you are today.
That's what I am today. Yes, I am. And in the process of building that identity and also taking the step to go into full self-employment, which was about 1.5 years ago, I realized there was another piece missing. So I don't just want it to be another coach. I wanted to make this really authentic. And so, long answer to your question, that's how I came to integrate nature, walking and coaching, being nature in movement, and really also focusing on women in transition.
Beautiful. Thank you, Pia, for sharing your story with us. Really grateful. And that makes me think, I remember when we spoke about this podcast and this episode together, you mentioned to me that when you coach, there are 3 parties. And as a coach myself, I was a little bit surprised at first. But you said, yes, there's the client or the coachee. There's you, the coach, and there's nature. So yes, it's a 3-party coaching. So can you maybe for our listeners also explain, like, how does nature come into your coaching? What does nature bring different than if you were not doing it in nature, then maybe it would not be there? And what is the impact that brings into a client, and what comes out of that relationship with a coach and a coachee?
I love your question. Yeah, and I often say this, right, that there are 3 parties. I say this with humility as well, because nature for me in that process of our clients and the women that come to me, they come to build a new identity, right? Yeah. To step into the person that they're becoming. And so there is a lot of deconstruction of the old identity and also a level of deconditioning. And nature in that sense is, we as coaches and as humans are trained out of our judgment, right? To become more curious, to embody curiosity, to embody discernment, if at all, right? So, but nature just is that. It's not trained to do so. So there's just this other level of non-judgment, of not having the conditions that supports both me and the client to step into their creativity, their curiosity, their most authentic self, really, at the end of the day.
Wow, yeah.
And one thing that just comes to me is Felicitas Unbound, one of my favorite psychotherapists that I'm also will train with this year. She talks about the room being the most important thing in our communication. Now, this is communication to self, to others.
Yep.
So nature is the room I intentionally choose to have those transformative conversations. And the beautiful thing I find is that clients take that and create from it. So some of them might end up having weekly or daily rituals of having walks, of having conversations with themselves. And as coaching is help for self-help, like most modalities really are, I love observing that in them when they are now having those conversations with themselves and basically end up being their own coach after we work together for a certain amount of time.
Well, that's great, because that's the overall objective of a coach, right? Where they can coach themselves going forward. Yeah, beautiful. I know you go beyond coaching in nature and walk and talk, like coaching and cold water, right? And combining those cold plunges. So we did it this morning, You did ask if I would be open to it. I said yes. So we did do a cold plunge into this beautiful lake with the water at about 10 degrees, which I had never done. So maybe first I'll ask the question and we can talk about the experience this morning, but that's being uncomfortable, right? So what do we learn from being uncomfortable? And when you work with your clients with this kind of methodologies, like what comes out and what can be applied then to a real life situations where we don't know what to do, uncomfortable situations at work or in life? How does that apply in everyday life? A cold plunge or whatever you may do in nature with your clients.
So now I think I'm with your listener who's like, how is Laurent doing with this experience of this morning? Would you mind sharing first, like, how the experience was for you, as you've just done it, as you said, for the first time? And
yeah, of course.
We'll take it from there.
No, of course. I didn't think I would be able to go into the water in such temperature first. So there was a mental, block. But I think you really took it along. You worked with breathing. That helps. And I think for me, what was interesting was when you focus actually on the sensations that you feel on your body and know that you are cold, then it doesn't feel cold, and cold actually is no longer cold. It's just physical sensations that are different that I knew. And that was quite powerful because I actually entered that water, I even thought myself fairly easily, and could stay in something. It wasn't that uncomfortable in the end. And yeah, that was just very interesting. I find how the body reacts and how actually the mind and the body can just work together to actually do something that I didn't think I would be able to do before.
Thanks so much for sharing. And you were such a natural in it. So I think you already named so many things that I would highlight. And the first one is really limiting beliefs, right? We work with that as coaches and as humans all the time once we get aware of it. And so there was how it's going to be before, and then you step into it and you notice, oh, it can actually be even pretty easy. I saw you were very natural in it.
Yeah.
So again, for some it will be harder. That's all valid. So, but the key thing here is, and also applying it to leadership, right? For our listener right here, is stepping into it, and maybe the way you step into it is actually taking it a little slower. So if you know something, can be a conversation, can be a project, can be a new strategy that you're building, even a new job that you're joining or a new company, there's this can you just be a little slower with it? You're doing this thing that's uncomfortable. Can you be a little slower with it? We just took a little more breath. Yeah. We just stayed there for 2 more minutes before we went in and talked about the intentions. We talked about, maybe also what you want to let go of. So I think the key thing here that we can learn, and that I'm, observing in my clients, that they see I can be a little slower. I can take, my 1 minute, my one breath, and they apply that back into their everyday professional and personal lives. And it's this key insight that we will see in coaching so many times, that people start to realize I have a choice, even if that choice is to take a breath.
I think it's interesting you talk about breathing, because to me, for the experience of actually dipping into that cold water, that was the breathing, yes, and going step by step, I think. And yeah, the slowing down, and yeah, this limiting belief. I said before we went, I don't think I will be able to go full in, and I did. So yes, right there was
open, right? So you said, "Oh, let's do it," right? So
yeah, because I wanted to try, and I guess that's part of the process as well. So yeah, really interesting. Yeah.
What I would love additionally to highlight is why to do cold plunges in leadership coaching. There is no more pretending. The body's just going to tell the truth. So if you wander off with your mind, if you go, it's cold, you're going to feel it right there. So you're going to notice it. You're going to have an immediate feedback. I'm going to be, of course, across you and see that and observe that and mirror that back. So the body tells you the truth immediately, and to really observe that. And then also, a core leadership skill, I think, is this ability to stay, right? So once we were in, you were fully in to your shoulders, we could just have left, right? It's like, you've done it. Let's just take a couple of breaths once you're in and see if you can expand.
Yeah, really interesting.
And once we do that, we stay, we try to expand besides the maybe uncomfortable or the unknown. That's the moment that you're going to build safety. And what we want, especially in leadership, in demanding circumstances, is come back to ourselves and feel safe in us. And, I'm thinking of some of my clients when they're sitting there and you see there is a lot, landing in them. And one of them, she was so beautiful in where she landed. And she said it with the words of, we were in cold plunging. This was after a session. Pia, I always looked for safety outside of me, be it relationships, be it status, be it what she does professionally, whatever. She just said, I was looking outside of me for safety. And now I sense that in me. What a powerful reference point to be. So, I wanted to highlight that. I was so impressed by her.
Yeah, well, feeling safe inside is great, right? So, I'm thinking, again, nature, what can we learn? What nature teaches us, again, in terms of leadership, transition, safety, uncomfort, right? What do you see, and what can we learn from that?
So there are a couple of things that come to my mind. I think we mentioned one before with kind of the nature and the non-judgment, the just being. I don't know, this is also something that's really important to you, I feel. Yeah, we talked about it. So nature teaches us to just be, to not question worth of us, of it, simply exist. And I think many leaders are extremely good at doing, right? They feel that's the expectation, to keep on doing, creating all the time. And through that kind of get disconnected from being.
Yeah.
And that can lead to a lot of exhaustion. So the work is basically, once you do a lot, you've got a big bias towards action, which I definitely had and still do at times. It's not your recipe is not going to be more doing. Simple. So I have this saying with my sister that we challenge each other and our growth process. It's like, are we doing something that's different from how we did things before? And I think that's a good way to check in with yourself. If you're a really action biased person, which I assume lots of people are going to be, your recipe is going to be more. And nature is going to help you with that. Just be.
How does the nature help us to be more?
Yeah, I think let's see for yourself here. Like, do you, besides we're recording this podcast, like if you look around, what comes to your mind? What do you feel?
It's very green. There's a lot of grass in spring, so it's beautiful, and it's very open and very very relaxing.
Mm.
There's a sense of openness, yes, in the place we are.
There's a lot of ease when I listen to you. There is a lot of relaxation, regulation. So we're having both our relationship to regulate ourselves, nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear you wanting to do anything. I mean, we're still recording, right? We're obviously doing something in some ways. We're having this beautiful conversation. We're getting connected to you as a listener. But beyond that, I didn't hear you say you need to do something. There is no calling right now.
No, it's true. It's true. So is that what nature brings? So this is what you would sort of bring in terms of I don't know, leadership and all that. Like how can we?
Let's make it a little more tangible.
Yeah, sure.
And I think I think nature, of course, has so many lessons. But one I'd love to highlight is the teaching about seasons.
Mm.
So going beyond, just doing and being as two things. If we look at the seasons that nature teaches us now, it's springtime, things are maybe growing, blooming, coming into life. So there is this kind of growing energy around us. And I think that's just one thing nature helps us to understand, like seasons. And I don't just mean, now it's winter, everything needs to be still, but really in leadership, can we look out to not be in summer and kind of, that heated, always doing energy, I guess, as well. But also, are there seasons where we can harvest, where we can let things be as they are, and noticing where am I at this point in my life as a leader in my seasons and the system. And, don't overthink it, but just like sense into what season am I in? What's the system needing right now in that season?
I love the metaphor of the seasons and the summer and the winter and all that, yes. And it's not about not doing, but if we compare, I guess, summer to being at its peak, right? Because most people and a lot of people do enjoy summer. Maybe there is truth that we need to let go and that maybe we can't be all the time at peak, right? We wish we could, but if we look maybe at nature, nature is not all the time at its peak. It does go into a quieter period in winter and sort of sleep or rest. So I'm just wondering, and again, with the leaders you speak and you work with, like how and what do you see that leaders tend to resist slowing down? Even though we know this is beneficial and we need to rest, but often in the workplace or in the business or even in life, like what do you think what is the resistance? Why do we resist to slow down?
Yeah, I think you said it great. We think we need to rest, but we don't really want to. So that's what I observe. And I think there is some level of fear. Slowing down can feel quite unfamiliar to the system, to our system. So many leaders are used to operating in constant doing mode, and that gives them a sense of safety. So I think their body signals them rest, unsafe, unfamiliar, just as, stepping into the cold, strange, new, unfamiliar. Yeah. So it's a process, I would say. It's a practice to teach yourself, and please ask for help if you want to teach yourself step by step, being very, very kind, that being in summer all the time, as you mentioned, that did bring you a very, very far. But there is this beautiful saying, right? What got you here won't get you there. So people come into the coaching spaces or any sort of, help for transformation because they want to change something, right? So we have to look at new ways and But I think that's not the only thing. Also, when it comes to, our minds, leaders do have strong inner drivers, voices. Hello, voices. Telling them that keep going, do more, don't stop. So besides their body, there is also this in their head. And underneath, if we dig really deep and we become very real, it's usually something along the lines of I'm not enough, or I will be only accepted, connected if I achieve and do a lot. So that's really deep work to deconstruct that. Again, step by step, being very kind to those voices. They really need us to be kind. So it's like an inner conflict, let's say, in change. And just like with outer conflict as well, kindness, and I don't mean being nice. I'm also a recovering people pleaser. I really mean kind, like appreciative of what they've done for you. And also telling them that the backseat now is more where they will be sitting. Not at the microphone anymore. Does that make sense? Or can you relate to that?
I can relate to that. Yes, I can relate to that, and I also see it. Obviously, my coaching is not outside, but I guess you get a different energy when you do outside. I can totally relate to what you say.
Yeah, and I mean, again, maybe we could even say, slowing down is not a luxury anymore. It's really. It's part of your leadership skills.
And that links well to what I was thinking is, how do you see misconception about leadership? Maybe you say slowing down is not a luxury. But do you see any misconception? And where do you see change when people reconnect, people slow down? So what suddenly becomes possible? What do you see?
I'm now visited by 2 animals. So I let my answer emerge from here. So with slowing down and also that misconception that leadership is a constant doing, creating, and being somewhere all the time, it's having the ability to be in awe and wonder again. And now apply this to having your teammates. Can you be in awe and wonder of the humans they are and what they bring so that they can see it in themselves and live up to it? So creating from the animals that are on my skin.
Pia has a couple of bugs that are nice bugs that are crawling over her. So this is the joy of nature.
Awe and wonder will help you tremendously as a leader to invite others into their full potential and creativity. So one of the misconceptions, to make it a little more tangible again, is the misconception to be the one to have the answers. I know this is an old one, but it's still there, and always lead from the front, so to speak. So I see this in my clients, and in reality, leadership, as I see it, and is much more fluid and has much more dimensions. So sometimes you lead with direction, sometimes you lead alongside each other, really like shoulder by shoulder. And sometimes you lead by stepping back, so to speak, a little resting and creating space for others and just hold that. So the real challenge here is actually your inner agility to move through those different dimensions. It's really demanding. It's like any sort of flexibility, but you need to train that muscle. And as you move through those different dimensions, you want to have this beautiful center we talked about before, this feeling safe in yourself. So you want to build kind of this home place while you're moving and you're being the coach to your teammate. Now the bugs are coming your way.
The bugs on me, yeah.
So you want to be, grounded in who you are, in your values, while having, that flexibility to move to those different, to move to the front, to move to the back, to the side. So you're really becoming what is needed in the moment to reach those goals of your team, of your organization, of your life, whatever it is. Same thing applies in partnership and parenting. Yes.
If there was...
How does that resonate with you, Laura?
That resonates with me, and I love that little bug that's crawling over my hand. I'm just, that's the joy of the nature. There's people that invite themselves into the discussion.
I'm all curious what's happening with you, dear listener, because maybe they're walking outside right now and having their own little experience.
Exactly. They may have bugs or flies or something also flying over them. I'm just thinking, like, in terms of everything you've shared, and your experience firstly of coaching, also in nature and within that reality, what are specific tips that you could share with our listeners that they could easily implement that would help them? I don't know, we talked about safety, or leading from the front, from the back, from the middle. Like, is there any one or two tips that you would give them that they could easily implement and start to do?
For all of what we talked about, and also I think it's very present in our relationship and also in our conversation right now, it's coming back to the moment in the here and now. Like right now you're there, I'm here, we're in our bodies. So my invitation is to see that real leadership is happening in the present moment.
Mm-hmm. Be in the now. Be
in the now. So that is easy said.
Yes, easy said than done.
Really hard to do it moment by moment. So, but I just want to say it again, real leadership happens in the present moment. You've got all the information there. So there is a lot of there's practices that you can do to become more comfortable, because what will hold you back to be in the present moment is overthinking and controlling, and all those kind of things are holding you back. So it's the invitation to now, maybe as you're listening, just noticing something in nature. It could be anything that draws in your attention. It could be grass, it could be a flower, it could be the sun, it could be a cloud, the surface of the water, whatever it is, like try to really observe it. Maybe touch it if you can. Start to immerse yourself with your senses. So start a very small practice from moment to moment to connect to something of nature, to become a little more present. Yeah, so that just came to mind. And that's a little practice also of slowing down that we talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And something that the person that is listening right now maybe already does is just move your body. Now, if you're at the desk, just stand up, stretch once. I know it sounds kind of silly always, or even put on your shoes after a meeting and go for a walk for 2 minutes. Think about whether this one conversation you're having, one-on-one especially, could you have it on the phone and have a walk while doing so? Giving yourself the self-respect and your body that movement and being a little outdoors is helping you. And maybe I can back this up with a study and link it into the show notes if you want. The one thing that has shown to have the greatest effect on our well-being, like they researched, it's a meta study, so there is like thousands of people, hundreds of, I think 180 studies even, and the one biggest effect on your well-being, and we want to have well-being to be good leaders, is connecting movement and being outdoors and some positive psychology intervention. So just taking yourself out for a walk with a beautiful question, for example, that brings you close to the best possible intervention of a supporting yourself to be feeling good in your body as a basis for your leadership.
Thank you, Pia. We are reaching the end of this podcast. I mean, it's been an enormous pleasure to chat about what we did in nature coaching and what you see in leadership, and how actually things that most people have on hand is some kind of nature or place where we can just live and get energized, and, as you said, slow down and feel safe. So that's really what resonates with me, is the slowing down. And I'll give another example. When we came here, I walked along the lake a little bit, and I don't know, the crashing of the ground is maybe one way to slow down also, right? Focus on that sound and what does that give you, and gaining some space to think and just be instead of doing. So that's a takeaway. I also take personally a takeaway that I can plunge into 10 degrees Celsius water and stay there a minute or two. I don't know how long exactly we stayed, but more than I thought I could do at the beginning. So there you go. There's a limiting belief that I've gone out the door for myself today. So thank you for that, Pia. And anybody else that wants to try cold plunges, then do. It's actually good fun and quite nice to do. So yeah. Thank you for being with us today, Pia. It's been a real pleasure. And thank you for our listeners. And we hope to see you for another episode very soon. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day or evening, whatever you're doing. Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Pia. Thanks.